So just finished watering the plants. About to do my daily self-love and self-worth expression with a pull-up session. And I just wanted to take this time. Something had been on my mind, and it was time to address it. Something that I had missed in the abundance sessions. So once again, that was the last pop-up class. That was pop-up class number 7. Each one has a different theme, and we explore different ideas. This one was more sort of manifestation techniques. And so there was something that was glaringly missing, and I couldn't put my finger on it. And finally, so I was driving here this morning, driving back to my place this morning, it kind of popped in my head. And it was, so I talked a little bit about the quality of faith, So you've got point A, so essentially any manifestation technique, and I've got the big 4 that I point out, Stuart Wilde, Frederick Dodson, Nadim Zeeland, and Neville Goddard. And you can add others in there as well, but for me, those are the big 4, and they all kind of had the same message. It's really just reiterating the same thing over and over again. So you've got any technique that you learn is really just point A, point B. Point A is what you're aware of right now. Point B is something existing within the infinite realm of possibilities. So any technique is really just collapsing point A and point B. So it's the wave collapsing into a particle. But what often isn't mentioned is that, within our physical realm, within Malkut, if you will, is time. Okay, so there's often a time delay, especially if you've got to realize in the realm of emanations, you basically have pure spirit, you have thought, you have feeling, and then you have, physical manifestation with gradations, of course. But I mean, those are we can call those the big 4. And all of this is really just metaphor anyway. So within this, there is the aspect, or at least the belief, the thought form within time, the egregor, the pendulum, if you want, of time, and the idea that it takes time. All right. So now, faith is essentially, I talked about how in college, one of my big things that kind of got me through a lot of stuff was writing this zine, where I went over the idea of everything is going to be okay, everything is going to be okay, everything is going to be okay, and kind of reiterating it from a whole lot of different points and going into it. But how do you get into that state, that faith state of knowing that, that you've collapsed point A and point B, and that point B is the new reality. Essentially, point A is now dead, so you have been resurrected into point B. How do you get there? And there's often we use mental concepts and metaphors to help us get into the feeling state. Okay, because once again, the kinesthetic feeling state, that's the important thing. The ideas and all of that, and the thoughts and the visualizations are really just getting you into feeling, or however you process. If you really process things visually, then that's usually enough for you. If you're auditory, then that's enough for you. But if you can kind of transcend all of those normal processing, behavioral awarenesses, and get to a pure kinesthetic state, just like I often teach with the Secret Smile, then you have then you have the essence. Okay. Dr. Morse used to say, we feel before we think, and that's because, once again, in those emanations, so you have physical, and then you have emotional, and then you get to uh, uh, pure thought, basically. So in order to access thought, we have to go through feeling. Um, and bet you never thought of it that way, eh? Took me years before I finally figured that one out, that little koan out. So here is a little concept metaphor that can get you into that state, okay? That faith state, knowing that everything will be okay. Say you've walked into, and this is from Neville Goddard, and I think this is something that's been glossed over, but really needs to be further emphasized, because I think it's one of the best concepts that he ever got across. And that's, so say you were going to a movie theater, but you were late, okay? But it's like an old matinee where they wouldn't kick you out after the show, you know, like back when I was a kid, that's what they would do. They wouldn't, you know, if you wanted to stay for the next show, you bought your ticket, whatever. And so you were late, but you got there for the end of the movie. So you got to watch the end of the movie. You know that how the movie is going to end, but you really want to, see the whole thing. So you stay for the next showing, all right? And then, so, you know, it's this really dramatic movie, and everybody's hanging on the edge of their seat and like, oh no, will he make it? Will he get, will he be successful? Will he be dropped into the vat of acid? Will he get the girl? Will she get the guy? Whatever, you know? And then everybody is biting their nails, and it's progressing. So you're getting to enjoy the progression. You didn't see all of this part. So you get to enjoy it as it's happening, but you have seen the ending. You know how it's going to end. You know that everything's going to be okay. You know that we're going to have conflict resolution. Everything will be okay, and then, you know, end scene, credits roll, curtains close, everybody leaves happy. All right. So that's the concept. That's the mental sort of metaphor. You know what's going to happen. You get to watch the movie, but you have that faith that everything will be okay because you've already seen the ending. You know how it's going to end. So you don't have you don't have the emotional stakes in the outer mirror anymore. You know, the inner mirror is already reflecting the ending, and so you can just allow it to be, okay. And once again, if you know anything, maybe this is useful for you. If you know anything about any of the sources that I mentioned, or if you took my pop-up class, great. Or, you know, there are sources beyond that, far beyond that. There's again, that's kind of the basis of the more thaumaturgical aspect of theurgy and thaumaturgy. So I will end there because this video has already gone a little bit longer than I wanted to, but I'll probably edit it. So I just want to thank you for tuning in. I wish you much love. Once again, I want to remind you that you are worthy, you are loved, you are enough, and thank you very much.